This video is on the nuke and ground realistic battles in War Thunder, featuring my first ever nuke in the dev server. Hope you guys enjoy this radioactive intro. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Yes, I finally got a nuke in War Thunder. Actually 4 nukes, because the first 3 didn't really work. We either ran out of tickets or I got a bug. But don't worry, I'll be showing footage of how I got the nuke and how you can get yourself one too. And yes, by the way, this is a tank that's in the game. Now, because I was just chilling out and recording stuff in the background, there was no actual commentary to go along with the game footage, but we'll do some post commentary right now. So this is the game that I actually got the nuke in. Right now we are kind of forced to play Seversk 13. This is the new map, kind of very reminiscent of Chernobyl. I guess a lot of these places, this is actually a real location that it's based on, but they all look kind of samey to me. We're using the Type 90, it's a Japanese MBT. This thing did have a 5-second reload before, but it's been dropped to 4, so the actual reload speed is really what's going to give us the advantage here. Now, I spent a lot of time playing with Fly Daily earlier on. We were trying to help each other just by going to a little corner of the map and just shooting each other over and over again to get some spawn points. But as players do now on the dev server, they don't really want to have fun. They just go around just shooting things, getting 4 or 5 kills, and then just leave in vehicles that they could just be playing on the live server. I have no idea why. Dev server for me used to be, hey, you just jump in, like, go to battle, you meet up with everyone who's on the map, you just bully the bots a little bit, you shoot each other, have a wee bit of a blast, talk in the in-game chat, but for some reason now that mentality just seems to be gone. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go drive around the outskirts of the map, we'll find some bots, and we'll just go shoot them and bully them. Now, the nuke is one of the only real things that I'm excited for that's coming up in the next patch. It really adds something extra to 6.7 and above. We'll talk about that very shortly, but to me it just gives me that one extra thing that I'd like to do, and that's, you know, if your team is losing, you do have a lot of spawn points left, you can maybe put that hard push in the end just to try and get the nuke and drop it somewhere on the map. Now, the nuke will be available from 6.7 and above, so from basically your King Tiger and your T-32s, the big boys. That's exactly the kind of BR where you're probably more likely to get the nuke from. There's a couple of reasons for that. Reason number 1, these BRs are generally more populated. There's a lot more people. They bring out more vehicles and generally tend to keep the fight going. Of course, each time you die, you'll be spending your respawn points to bring out something new. And I think if a lot of people are kind of button heads going for it, it's kind of unlikely to happen. But for an experienced player, round about those battle ratings, especially when there's kind of a new influx of players, it could be a real feeding ground for getting your B-29 and dropping your nuclear bomb from it. You also need to bear in mind that spawning aircraft with bullpups and Nords and stuff like that, those are expensive, and if it doesn't go well for you, if you can't really pull it off, I don't know if it's actually going to be worth the spawn point investment bringing the aircraft out in order to try and get some extra kills with it, just because it might cost you 750 spawn points to begin with. Spawning light tanks and tank destroyers, stuff that doesn't cost you a lot of spawn points in order to actually accrue more spawn points, is probably going to be one of the better things to do. Of course, sticking in a 4-man squad and perhaps just feeding one squad member, a lot of spawn points might be the way to go, but we'll really need to see. And doing some testing with Fly as well, we tried to scout to see if it would bring down the spawn point cost of the nuke, but it doesn't seem to change. It will always remain at 3,000 spawn points regardless of what happens. So you can see here, this is not a very populated lobby. It's just a 2v2. There's a lot of bots around here. I'm just trying to avoid the players themselves because they might be trying to do the same thing. On the dev server as well, you've got like a permanent 500% research booster. So whenever you're out here, you're shooting bots. If you don't have the vehicle that's next in line, maybe the new thing that's on the dev server itself, you can use this game mode in order to advance through your tech tree to try the new stuff. But for content creators like myself and Fly, we get given the stuff kind of early so we can showcase them, and that's exactly why I managed to get the Type 90. I just golden eagled it. Don't worry though, it doesn't affect your main account at all. So if you do buy out things with GE or you do advance, whenever you go back to your main account, everything will just be as it was as you left it. Now I'm trying to get the bots here to damage me as well, but they're not going to do me any more serious damage here, so I'm just going to try and repair and get shot, and eventually one of them takes me out in a Canaverin. The more you get shot, the more things you shoot, the more things you kill, the more things you assist for, the more spawn points you can get. So if you've got a big heavy tank like a Tiger 2 and you're bouncing a lot of shots, that will really actually help you get towards your nuke. So it's not always about dealing damage, it's about mitigating damage as well. Now I've skipped ahead quite a bit. I was just driving from one end of the map to the other to go look for some more bots to shoot. Unfortunately, somebody else on the other team didn't really see what was going on, so he kept coming after me in his Corsair 2, trying to hit me with ATGMs. I'm not actually sure what the hell he was firing at me, but he was really seeking me out rather than the people in the convoy. A lot of people like that in the dev server are just like that. They just want to get into people's ways. I have no idea why they want to do that, but I mean, it could be just the fact that I was the only one you could see from the air. I honestly don't know. I was already about 2,000 odd spawn points anyway into this game, so it wasn't too much of a stress. But eventually he will knock me out here, and I will need to come back in another light tank to try and get the last of the spawn points in order to spawn the nuke. So it was a tiny bit frustrating. But there were way more instances on the dev server as we went along. Now if you do download the dev server just to hop on there, don't just jump into battles just to annoy people. People are trying to test things, look at things to showcase to people on their YouTube channels or on their live streams or to their friends, and if you just get in the way, you're just being a nuisance. So we're in the Type 89 now. This guy's still trying to hunt me down in his Corsair 2. I'm getting very close to the number of spawn points required to bring out the nuke, as you can see in the top of the screen there. So I reckon from 6.7 on, I'm actually wondering if maybe if you've got a 5.7 lineup and you get full up tiered, you might still be able to get access to the nuke. That will definitely remain to be seen. It'll be fairly unusual if you brought out, say, a 76 Sherman Easy 8 and you somehow managed to accrue a nuke, but I guess remains to be seen what's going to happen there. As for frequency of these nukes, so regularly I will get games where I get over 3,000 spawn points and I'll like jump in a plane, or I maybe get the 3,000 spawn points just from using a plane like a Do 335B2 or something along those lines, like an AU1 or an AD2. It's not that rare, I would say, for a really experienced player, someone who's maybe better than me, to sit there and just churn out 3,000 spawn points. But I think when people know that someone who has a lot of kills and a lot of points on the scoreboard could possibly get a nuke, they might actually try and focus them out of the game on purpose to make sure that doesn't happen. So it might introduce a new dynamic. I'm not entirely sure. Now, on top of that, you're about to find out what happens when you do get the nuke. It's not just a case of spawning in the air. It actually starts a little mini game, and I actually kind of like this idea. At the same time, it could lead to a bit of frustration. So, I'll let you see what happens. I really don't want to ruin a surprise, honestly, if this is your first time seeing it. So just trying to farm the rest of these bots inside the spawn. Again, I'm doing my best just to avoid actual players. Like, these bots don't have feelings. I'm really sorry, AI. Don't come after me and hurt me to death. But yeah, this guy in the plane strafed me specifically again, and then I got taken out by, I think, the exact same Canaverin as last time. So there it is, the Jaguar A, and we can now spawn it. So you won't really hear this, and unfortunately on the replay I couldn't hear it either, but actual air raid siren alarm has sounded over the entire battlefield, and that now alerts the enemy to the fact that someone is coming in with a nuke. You must take off from the airfield, it looks like, and I think that might even happen with the B-29. So you gotta get off the ground, get as fast as you can, get to the battlefield before the timer will actually activate on the bomb itself. This thing coming across the middle of the screen is kind of annoying. It's there for the whole time, so I hope that it kind of flashes and maybe like a little prompt that you could maybe close it down, but it's really intrusive and it's right in the way you're playing, and it kind of looks ugly whenever you're going to do something cool like get 3,000 spawn points and drop a nuke on the battlefield. Yeah, at any point someone could shoot me down. At top tier it could be an ADATS or a Tunguska or a Ragflak Panzer, whatever the hell it's called. You just don't know that it's going to come, so I guess you could outskirt the map a little bit. Now, 3 times I got this. One time the tickets blare out, and the other times I spawned on the airfield and then the tickets just went down rapidly and the game was over. And this is the only time out of 4 times that I managed to get this to work. So I don't know if it's a bug, or I don't know if it's maybe because there was no players left and it was only bots that the game just ended early, but I'm not sure. Anyway, this Crusader is actually chasing me. He's behind me. I didn't know this, but it's going to be too late for him anyway. So, dropping the bomb. You can hear the siren going off. That swing going off the whole time. And there you go. I wonder if the bomb delay will be any different, but that's it. That's just the end of the game. And it's a default win for our team. Enemy tickets are all gone. It's actually very cool how the bomb kind of changes the terrain as well. I'm really excited to actually see this in game. There we go, 24 kills. Roughly you would need 20 kills with a single life. But with deaths involved, yeah, you're going to need a lot more. So I guess every single player gets to see this screen as well. And as well, this Geiger counter sound will play through your hangar for a good 5 minutes or so as you're sitting in here. So that's pretty cool too. It kind of gives a wee bit of an atmosphere inside your hangar as the game's been over. So I'm not sure if there's any more stuff going to come along for a hangar after that, or maybe some sort of achievement, but nonetheless, here we are. Now quickly, I'd like to shout out all my patrons over on Patreon for helping me on the channel. Honestly, without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this at all. And to everyone watching as well, your contribution just by looking at my channel is massively appreciated. And if you wouldn't mind leaving me a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I put a War Thunder video out every single day, or at least I try to. And of course, to all my tier 3 patrons who get a shout out. It's Matthew S, Jesse Mills, Stumpin' Bunny, Ian, Stoyan, Ollie, Brahma, Kyle of White, Houndy, Gateway, Bill L, Trash Panda, Raj, Zema, Kane the Soul Lord, Warpig, Firepiper, Sexy, Vanian, Yogbo, Justin Darlin, Shaft, Mr. Buzzwell, J Tormy, Fearsome Scotsman, and the Taco Guy. That is a lot of people. Oh, and before we go, listen to this. Broombar video coming very soon. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. Much love. And bye-bye.